All right, welcome back to Soccer Matters here on ESPN 97.5. We roll on here tonight. It's been a big night on the radio, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. Remember, you get the podcast of this show at hornfm.com in Austin, and in Houston, it's ESPN975.com. So you can listen to your heart's desire. Show is always brought to you by John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm, daspitlaw.com. Give them a call, 713-322-HURT. They're bilingual. They're personal injury attorneys. You get in an accident, car, boat, motorcycle, work in a refinery, any of these things, you need representation. It's John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm, and they get soccer on the radio. So let's just make it as simple as can be. They get us on the air, and we appreciate it. And it allows us to do interviews like this. Houston Dash manager James Clarkson joining us now. James, thank you very much for coming on.
Hey, Glenn, no problem. How you doing?
Cavorting around the country, playing the likes of Barcelona. I want to start with the ICC and what a special moment it was to play, a club as big as that from Europe in Barcelona.
Yeah, fantastic. Obviously disappointed because we put ourselves in a really good spot against Portland. We were 2-0 up, played really well in that first half and really should have made it to the final. But, the consolation was we got to play against Barcelona, and fantastic experience, great for the team. I think it's great for the club as well to raise the profile of the club. And again, we put ourselves in a fantastic position. We got ourselves in the lead. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold on to it, and, we got beat 3-2, but different style of play. And it was an exciting game for us, and I thought the players responded really well. And we were able to rotate the squad. We were able to get our internationals back in and get them some game time leading up to the start of our playoff push.
And of course, you do have the upcoming game against Tigres as well, which again I think is absolutely exciting for everybody here in Houston to get connected to a brand where so many in the Houston area are connected to Tigres.
Yeah, I think we've worked really hard to get that game. We went down there a couple of years ago. It was a fantastic experience. We want to, provide the same sort of hospitality they showed us, and hopefully put on a really entertaining game for the fans. And I think having these games is massive for the growth of the game and the profile of the Dash. And we want to be at the forefront of playing international competition. And, I think these are the first steps in really pushing the boundaries and getting this kind of cup competition involved in our calendar on a yearly basis.
James, let me take you back to the Barcelona game, because Sophie Schmidt joined us on the halftime show of Channel 55, the Dynamo game this past weekend. And we were talking about, just the interaction with the international side here with like the ICC and how important it is. What were some of the comments from your players after playing Barcelona, things that you just heard about that game and maybe the differences in that game based on the NWSL?
I think from a coaching standpoint, the most pleasing thing was how disappointed they were that we threw the game away. And, we spoke about how we've got to be able to influence the game without necessarily having the ball. And the way we played the first half, we were very compact. We worked really hard on trying to control the tempo without necessarily having the ball. We got ourselves into some really good situations that we should have done better on. And then second half, we found ourselves in similar situations that we did what we were supposed to do, and that led to the 2 goals, which was great. We had a big chance right at the end to tie it up to make it 3-3, and I just think that the overall just experience, I said, it's a different style of play, and they're very possession based, so it becomes a bit more tactical, and it kind of highlights to our players, how important keeping the ball is. So massive learning experience for everyone, but the part was how we were able to have a game plan, players were able to execute it. It really kept us competitive. It kept us in the game. And like I said, it gave us a huge chance to win the game.
James Clarkson, head coach of the Houston Dash, joining us. 8th place, 6-3-6. But remember, they're only 3 points out of a playoff spot. So that's pretty deceptive in itself. For you as a coach, and you mentioned their tight play, is there anybody comparatively in the NWSL that you would say would be sort of the Barcelona of the NWSL, which is the best possession-based team that you guys face in league play?
I think there's a lot of teams that have all and have really strong teams. I think OL Reign, who we play on Wednesday, are right up there with the best of them. I think North Carolina are very good, but not necessarily a big possession-based team. But their attack and everything is very dangerous. Same with Portland. So I think there's some really strong teams. Obviously, Portland won the tournament, so it shows the level they're at. They're top of the table as well. And I think when you look at the league table this year, how competitive the league is, and the small margins between top to bottom, it's an incredibly tough league this year. And I think that's a great sign of the development of the league, of the teams, and the progress that we're making.
So the Dash are coming off the 1-0 win over Racing Louisville. Now, do we say Racing or Racing in the NWS? Somebody help me with this, please, because I'm doing both, and I don't think I'm helping anybody to understand.
Yeah, I'm the same. So,
what are we doing, Racing or Racing?
I'm a bit old school, so racing for me. So
now, if this team was in Indianapolis, we would call it Racing, but since maybe we'll go with Racing. Okay, so. Anyway, we got OL Reign tomorrow. That's a big game. Get out to that. We are giving tickets, or I have given tickets out during the show, and then it's Orlando Pride on Sunday. We mentioned the Dash are only 3 points out of a playoff spot. They're coming off the 1-0 win over Racing Louisville. All right, you make some interesting points here with the Barcelona game, but how much pressure really are you feeling, and how much pressure is the team feeling? Because look, this would be monumental to get into the playoffs. The Dash have never been in the playoffs in their existence, and I know you're a competitor. You're a guy that wants to win. This is a big year for the Dash to get in.
Yeah, it's massive, and expectations after last year are much higher this year. We know what we're capable of doing, and that was the first time we really had the full strength squad out at the weekend, and for probably 8-9 weeks, I think it is. And so to have everybody back is very exciting. I thought the first half, we was up until the water break that we, the last 15 minutes that we stepped it up and really started to play at a really good level. And then second half, I thought for 30 minutes, 35 minutes of that, the start of that second half, I thought we were fantastic. Started to see the players really click. Some of the movement, ball possession stuff was excellent. The chances we created, we really should have scored a couple more goals. So that I know when we're at full strength, we've got our team. We're a good matchup for anybody. And I think we've got to get into the playoffs. That was the goal at the start of the season. It still is the goal. And obviously, we are competitive. The players want to win it all. But in order to do that, we've got to make the playoffs. So it's vitally important. And these home games are going to be pivotal for it. And if we can do well and win our home games, that probably will be enough to get us into the playoffs. So, we've got the 2 games this week, and then we have a quick turnaround, and we play Chicago the following Friday at home. And all of these teams, we're all competing for the same spot. So these are all massive, 6-point games that will either get us in or knock us out. And Sunday's game was such a big one that it was all about getting the 3 points, and the team were fantastic and did really well to see the game out. So it's good. Players are excited. I don't need to motivate them, that they know what's on the line. They're all highly competitive people, and that they want to win. So it's good. It's exciting.
You're positioned well. The Houston Dash looking to be the first ever time into the playoffs under James Clarkson. All right, let's talk about the Canadians coming back. Gold medal winners, obviously. Remarkable world moment. Olympics, once in a lifetime, incredible. They beat the U.S. And of course, you got 2 bronze medal winners too with U.S. players, and now a third. And we'll get to that in a second. But I was up at Texas calling the UT women's college game, and I'm looking at Julia Grosso, and I'm going, how easy is it to reacclimate after all this attention, this remarkable moment that you may be still pinching yourself, if it even happened. Is it been tough? And I know these are hardened pros, Sophie Schmidt, Alicia Chapman, Nichelle Prince. Is it tough to get them integrated back in, or has it just been a breeze?
No, I think it is tough, and I think from there's all the different aspects. Obviously, the physical, the amount of minutes that they've played, or if they haven't played as much, with the quick turnaround of games in the Olympics, the amount of training that was done wasn't particularly high. So making sure that physically they're in the right spot is huge, especially when we've got 3 games in a week. It's important that we manage their load and make sure they're all okay. And then, they were pretty much in a bubble. They were locked up. I don't think the Olympic experience was what they are used to or what they were expecting. I think it was a lot tougher playing in stadiums without fans, not interacting with other athletes and things. I think was really difficult. So all of those things added in, and then coming back into our environment, it takes time, and this is why we've tried to integrate them in slowly. We worked on different times that they came back in. Obviously, Sophie came back in straight away, wanted to play, and played against Washington. Went to Portland and was active in all of the games. We rested Chappie to help her recover, and Michelle came in for the Barcelona game. Same with Christine Jane. So managing that's been really important, because the real focus is this run of games. They'll obviously be away again in September for the international break, so they'll go through that whole process again. And we've just got to make sure that we keep them connected, and make sure that they're such a valuable part of the team, and make sure every time they step on the field that they can perform at the best of their ability.
James Clarkson joining us, Houston Dash head coach. OL Reign tomorrow night, and that is at BBVA Stadium. It's a great opportunity to get down there, see the Dash, see Olympians as they make a push towards the playoffs. Okay, so I remember when the signings occurred with Megan Oyster and Katie Naughton, and this was to address the center back position. And you seemed very happy about this. You were, hey, this is it now. We've got the solidarity we need there. A huge signing this week with Abby Dahlkomper coming from the U.S. Women's National Team, the courage. Talk to me about that, because you got a new dynamic here, and I don't think you're bringing her here to sit on the bench. I mean, I think you're bringing here to get a spike to get into the playoffs. So talk about that whole dynamic with these 3 center backs now.
I think first off, when a world-class player becomes available, as an organisation and a team, if we want to progress and be at the forefront and win things, we can't ignore world-class players, and the more we can have on the team, the stronger we're going to become. So I thought it was a great opportunity for us to strengthen. The 2 centre backs, Meg and Katie, they've been outstanding. They've pretty much played every single minute for the last 2 seasons, and without a break. And we don't have real depth at the centre back position, and if anything was to happen to either of them, we'd be in a real sticky situation. And so to now get that extra depth, it also provides some different tactical looks to how we can set up, how we can play, how we can get different players on the field by having 3 centre backs is quite exciting, and can give us a different feel when we play certain oppositions. So I think it gives us a bit more flexibility. It gives me the chance to be able to rotate and rest the players, because like I said, the 2 centre backs, it's been tough because they have played every single minute. They've had to defend more than at times they usually have. So it's not just the physical, it's the mental load and the wear and tear that it's taken on them week in, week out, and especially when we've got game after game. Fortunate that they don't necessarily give too many fouls away, so that they're not faced with suspension, but that could happen. And obviously, heaven forbid, either of them get injured. But so getting that and adding a serial winner like Abby to the team, she's won the championship, she's won a World Cup. She's got huge experience. It can only benefit the whole squad. So it gave everybody a boost, and hopefully we can use this to push us on, get us into the playoffs, and go as far as we can.
Now, you talked about 3 center backs. Is that something that you would do from the start of a game? And does that pose any kind of problems when you talk about integrating that and doing that from the start? And maybe this is simply just to get your best players on the field. I don't know.
Yeah, it is something that we've looked at. We were even looking at the idea when, even before Ali Prisock went on loan, when we had, real three centre backs that we think could play. It gives us an opportunity to get different players onto the field in different ways. And we've played three at the back, but we've usually been chasing the game. So it's sometimes it's easier chasing the game when you can gamble a little bit and push more players forward. So it also gives us that. It gives us the opportunity to be able to play three centre backs, bring one on if we're defending a lead. But it also, from the start, if we're able to do it, getting the amount of training time at the moment with the way the schedule is will be a little bit difficult, but it's certainly something that within the plan is vitally important. We played the other week, and I think we played 6 different formations within the 90 minutes, and having that tactical flexibility is something that is really important. I think it shows the progress of the team and the individuals to be able to make those adjustments in the game, and having those type of players that we have available, I think is really positive, and it gives us another string to our bow that makes us more difficult to play against.
So in a difficult season, I mean, the NWSL coach, this has been a big challenge for all you guys. I mean, with players coming in and out, and we're talking to James Clarkson, head coach of the Houston Dash. Is it risky maybe to make a radical change like that at this part of the season? Is it a good gamble? I mean, that's why they pay you the big bucks. It's easy for guys like me to ask these questions, but that's why they pay you the big bucks. Is that something you still contemplate?
It's something we're contemplating, and obviously, if we do and it works, I'll look like a genius. If it doesn't, I'll look like a fool. So that's the joys of the job. But if I feel that it can help us win the game, and this is the area where we can do this. We've played 4-4-2 recently. Having 2 forwards, I think, gives us a different look at times. So potentially by playing with 3 centre backs, we're able to get 2 forwards on. I just think it gives us a lot more flexibility and variation, and we'll be able to change things up. So I think it's an exciting situation to be in. It obviously brings more headaches because everybody wants to play. And I've now got to manage the team and manage the squad and make sure that everybody's happy, because ultimately it is a squad game and we need everybody to be engaged. Those players that were playing during the Olympics did a fantastic job. And now when the national team players come back in, some of them fall out of the starting 11. It's not nice. It's tough, but when they continue to work hard at training, that's what I want. I want to be in those situations where we're having really deep conversations on what the starting 11 should be, and even getting to the stage where who do we have in the 18? And if we're having those conversations constantly, that shows that we're performing and playing at a really high level. So that's what we need in order to make the playoffs.
James, great catching up with you. Good luck in getting into the playoffs. Good luck tomorrow night against OL Reign. Obviously, that is a big one. Looking forward to catching that game. As always, we thank you for coming on and really taking us through everything that is Houston Dash.
All right, appreciate it, Glenn. Thanks very much.
All right, that's the one and only James Clarkson. That's how we wrap it up here tonight in big style. Again, we remind you, OL Reign visiting the Houston Dash tomorrow. There is a great race in the NWSL to get into the playoffs. Also, you can get the podcast of this show at ESPN975.com.